Fast Forward Productions. The women are speaking.
Even though I'm pretty frugal with money, when it comes to sports equipment, I will spend all of it. So combined with this marketing strategy that Yeti has and Meredith talking about how much fun at Hardtail is going to be, I'm like, let's do it. And then on top of that, the guy at the bike store was like, if you get two, you get 20% off. So I was like, free money, done.
Especially because
can't pass on a deal.
Yetis never go on sale.
The downside to the deal was that we both had to get the same color. Downside number 2 is it turns out I don't like hardtail bikes.
Like at all.
Welcome to the Afternoon Snack Podcast. I am your favorite host, Alex, here with my wife and life partner and partner in business and sleep mate, Meredith Root.
Only sleep mate when you're not mad at me.
Right. We have a guest room for a reason. Today, we're going to be talking about our favorite products and brands. Just in case you're wondering, we do get asked a lot, so we thought we would do a podcast on it, and it's a fun one that didn't require a whole lot of research. So if you're looking for ideas on what new sports bra to buy or what running shoes to check out first, you've come to the right place. Please enjoy. Meredith?
Alex?
You okay?
Kind of.
Okay. I know that it took a minute to get us going, but we're going now and it's going to be great. And I'm going to kick us off with a story because we're going to be talking about our favorite brands. Have you ever had a brand that you absolutely love and then they really let you down and you have to grapple with the decision of whether to like boycott the brand or forgive them because you love the brand that much that you're willing to tolerate something that has bothered you about it? For instance, customer service.
Peppermint cycling, which I guess definitely not a sponsor of this podcast, given what I'm about to say.
I mean, I feel like, honestly, this is going to be helpful for them because it goes to their product.
Look, like if they were open to receiving feedback, they would have received the feedback that I gave them. Peppermint Cycling is this cycling company, like apparel company that's out of Quebec. They're Canadian. Didn't realize they're out of Quebec until I started dealing with their customer service. And then it became more apparent that they were out of Quebec.
Okay, Meredith, she has it out for Quebecois people.
Oh, look, I don't.
She thinks they're harsh.
I do.
But I think it's the language barrier.
They are a little harsh a lot of the times. But the people that we bought our house from were French Canadian, like from Quebec.
I
and
know
I was
a lot
really
of French Canadian nice people.
Worried, and then we met them and they were lovely. So I think I'm not willing to make that generalization anymore.
Don't judge a book by whether it's French. You know that old saying?
Oh man, I bought another French book I can't read.
Okay.
Anyways.
So go on with the story.
I bought some gear. We've bought lots of peppermint across the years.
I wear pretty much only peppermint because it's a female only brand. They only have women's clothing. So some brands, especially in niche sport brands, the men's products are so vast. And then women's like one short.
Yeah.
That you can choose from, which you don't even get a choice. Whereas peppermint has like everything is just geared towards women.
And you get like lots of color options that aren't some variation of pink or purple.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we've purchased a lot from them over the years. And so this year, because I was doing a lot of gravel riding, I needed some more gravel specific things. And they had launched in the spring, like their gravel line for the season. And they had some really neat colorways, and I thought the jerseys looked really nice. So I bought a few of them. I did my bootlegger race in one. I raced Unbound in that like peanut butter color one. But that was a whole thing because I wasn't sure if I was like going to race Unbound in Peppermint because I went on a training ride. It wasn't super muddy out, but it was wet because it was spring and got some mud just like on the bike, on the jersey, on the shorts, as you do. And no big deal. Took it off when I got home, threw it in the wash. And it didn't come out. And I thought that was kind of odd. So then I spot treated it, put it in the wash again, didn't come out. And I'm talking like it is noticeably stained.
And everyone who's ridden a bike, even in the city, understands the frustration of when this happens. Especially if you've ever ridden to school on a bike in regular clothing. When it's wet and the tire spins, it kicks up wetness and mud onto the back. So it's like a line of mud droplets.
Well, yeah, I mean, it didn't look like I shit my pants, but
No.
it was just mud splatter.
It's mud splatter.
Yeah, everybody, you know,
from the
yeah.
back of your tire splattering up.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. And it's like a gravel specific jersey, so you kind of expect that it will be cleanable because people who ride gravel get dirty. It's like part of the experience. So I reached out to them and I was like pretty nice about it. You know, like your stuff, I bought a bunch of it, like a fuck ton of your clothing. Like,
we literally only wear peppermint.
And your gravel jersey didn't come clean after a gravel ride, which I think is really odd. And they were basically like unwilling to do anything about it. And I'm like, this thing's ruined. And it's not an inexpensive jersey. It's expensive. And I bought more than one. And so now I'm like, I can't wear the one that's ruined. And I don't really want to wear the other one because I'm just pissed off about it.
And what if that one gets dirty?
Right. So now I'm like, so I guess I'll just only wear this on like pristine, perfect gravel rides. Like there's no such thing that exists. So anyways, I ended up wearing the one that I had for Unbound because frankly, I had spent so much money on that experience to that point that like buying another $400 cycling kit on the low end was not necessarily in my budget or not something I wanted to spend money on. However, if you are wondering about where the idea came to make tactic gear, that's where the idea came. Because I was like, screw that.
But we were grappling because I've got your back as one partner does to another partner. So as a partner who has the other partner's back, I was like, well, if she's upset with peppermint, then I'm upset with peppermint. And then I'm thinking, what am I going to do? Because I love peppermint.
Not even love peppermint. All I own is peppermint.
I'm like, do I burn what I have? Do I ride naked? What do I do? So I think we kind of slowly, without really even having a discussion, just like started wearing our peppermint. But we haven't really purchased any more peppermint.
No, nothing new. I didn't buy a whole lot of new stuff this year anyways, like mountain biking gear. I've like stocked up last year and
then one of the buttons fell off of my shorts.
You're like, good
They are
riddance.
4 years old though.
I know. I wore my like green ones, like the first ones I ever bought yesterday. I haven't worn those in ages. And I'm like, hey, they're tight. So that's flattering. I guess my legs are a little bigger than when I started biking. But yeah, same thing. Like the little Velcro belt has come off.
Yeah.
It's like,
so I mean, this podcast isn't about peppermint, but it is about brands. And that's kind of it, I guess.
When you think about a brand and things that you like what contributes to that? Because it's obviously not just like the product. There's a whole thing that goes in, at least I guess for me, but maybe it's different for you. So what goes into liking a brand or not liking a brand?
Yeah, it is the product. That's first and foremost. But then I want to like the people behind it. I want to like what the company is about and their core values to align with ours to a degree. And I think owning a company, you are in the front seat and you see firsthand what it's like to be frustrated by customers and what you do with those customers when they come to you with problems. And I've learned a lot from actually your sister talking about Lululemon and how they handle things. And it's like, you just have to kind of deal with it and keep the customer happy because that's kind of the way it is with small businesses. You don't really want to leave a customer not feeling good about your brand. And I don't necessarily think it makes a difference if it's like an off one or two. And I think some people will just be dissatisfied with any service because you can't please everyone, but you can do your best to leave people with a good feeling.
Yeah. And so there's that intuition of like, there are people out there that they exist to be displeased. And so that's just kind of like, they'll take advantage of brands. And if you talk to Megan, like she'll tell you about these people who are clearly there to take advantage. But then there's also people who are not there to take advantage, but they just don't know certain policies, like return policies or, normal wear and tear versus warranty, things like that. And if you're to stick to the line and, company line on these policies, then you end up with someone who maybe they've only ever bought that one pair of yoga pants. But here's what you're guaranteed. They're never going to buy another pair of yoga pants. Where Megan's thing with it is, okay, I'm going to violate company policy or like, I'm going to like allow it to be a gray area. I'm going to take those yoga pants back, even though I'm not supposed to. But in doing so, that person is going to be a customer like for life. And they're going to come back and spend, potentially thousands of dollars in the coming years versus $0. There's like an intuition to that. And I'm kind of having a customer service mind and like knowing people. And, we've certainly, I think, evolved our policies in certain ways. Not our policies, but, if someone comes to you and they're being a shithead about wanting a refund because, whatever, then maybe not. But if someone comes to you and they just didn't know or something happened that was totally out of their control, then yeah, like we might not adhere to our own policies if it means like the customer service experience is better and it gives someone a good feeling.
Yeah, like there are moments where somebody wants something that is against our company policy, and we make it very clear what our policies are. And I'll say to Meredith, not as much anymore, but as you learn, because you learn as you get more involved in your job or your work, that I'll say, what's the point of even having a policy? And the point is most people follow it.
Yeah.
And if there weren't policies in general, then you would get a lot more requests.
Mhm.
I'm sure there are people who look at the policy and respect that and don't ask. And I guess everyone has their reasons for asking or not asking or following policy or whatever. But I do think that when it comes to larger companies, and I think apparel especially, when it's not really a service as much, like if you have a bad massage, you can't really be like, I'm not paying for that. Because somebody still took the time. You should have done your research to make sure that you signed up with the right person for you for that massage.
Yeah.
Or that physio or that nutritionist. Whereas like if you buy a shirt and it gets dirty and it doesn't come clean and you're using it in the way that it's meant to be used, to me, I'm like, that's not good customer service that they wouldn't replace that.
Yeah.
Or at least give you your money back. I once had a mountain biking shirt. I don't know what it is. I did some research and apparently it's like some sort of chemical that they use in the process of creating the shirt where whenever I would sweat, it would get really stinky.
I remember that shirt.
And so then I emailed and I said, this shirt is like really smelly. I've washed it. I've worn it again. It's not like getting better. And they were like, okay, send it back and I will send you a new one. And there was part of me too that was like, I have to send it back. You know, like, I don't even think with certain companies, you should have to send something back that's damaged. Anyways,
Yeah.
The new shirt they sent still smells. So I think it's just the shirt.
Yeah.
But anyway.
I think that good customer service looks a lot more like the hospitality industry than like customer service. I think there's customer service and there's hospitality. And if you want to do a good job with your brand, like you should research what hospitality is.
Yeah.
And you should do that.
I had a sunglass issue with Roka. Where I ordered the wrong sunglasses. I always order polarized sunglasses because it's better for your eyeballs. And I ordered the wrong sunglasses. And then the next day, or I think it was that night, I immediately realized I did the wrong order. And so I called or I emailed. I think you have to text customer service for that brand. And I said, I just put in an order. It's the wrong one. I need that canceled or changed. And I basically got a no, sorry, we can't. Because orders are processed so quickly that it's probably already in like, I guess, the assembly line of getting processed and sent out. And I was like, this can't be. It's literally been a few hours. Just go into your computer and cancel the order. And nothing. And I was so frustrated because they're going to send me these sunglasses from the US, so I have to pay duties on them and shipping. And then to return them, I have to now ship them back. And then to get the new pair, I have to pay shipping and customs again. So you know that I'm not going to order a new pair. Plus, I'm ticked off. So the next morning, I called again to try to get somebody different. And somebody else answered the phone and was like, I can't promise, but I'm going to do my best. And she tried and it worked.
Yeah.
And you know what? Roka is back in my good books. That makes a huge difference. It's so much easier on the customer. It's not policy, but if it's doable, just try. And it's no skin off anyone's back.
No.
Anyways, I remember Peppermint with you like tried another avenue for customer service.
Oh yeah, because they have a few like emails and things like that. So there was like, general customer service and then warranty. So I was like, all right, I'm going to email like the warranty department. And I should know, like, they're not a big company. And it was the same person emailed me back.
But you were like, I spoke to so-and-so and they said
Julia
no.
with customer service. And then the email back was like, hi, this is Julia again. I was like, God damn it.
You wrote an email that you spent hours on.
Yeah.
To like, well, not maybe hours, maybe an hour. To like really try to convince them that you needed to be compensated for these reasons. Not compensated, but like.
And they did, like, they did end up offering like more than they were at first, but it was like, I was like, it was still unsatisfactory. So I was like, just take your gift card and shove it, kind of.
I know. And then I was like, hey, do you have that gift card that Peppermint offered? You're like, no.
No, I told him to keep it. I didn't want it.
Okay. Let's get into it.
Okay.
After that, we're going to be talking about our favorite brands. These are brands that we love, that we aren't sponsored by because we don't have sponsors. We have a partnership with 2 of them. We'll talk about that. Otherwise, they're brands that we believe in. They're brands that have treated us well as customers. And we get a lot of questions about what we use for certain things. So we thought we would do a podcast on it.
Totally.
We've done one of these before. And I remember the one thing that people loved that we talked about was the pillow.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
For
Down
stomach
light.
sleepers.
Down light pillow.
Yeah.
The extra soft.
Yeah.
I use a soft.
I use the extra soft. I tried to switch to a new soft and it's too filled.
Which is crazy because I struggle to even tell the difference.
I can tell.
Okay. First on the list is you put non-alcoholic beer.
Yeah. This is a popular question.
I answered this question last week to someone.
So we go with a variety, but I would say my favorite, and I haven't tried a ton because we don't have that many options here in Fernie or even in Canada.
They're growing though.
They are growing, but it's not like we get the whole spread of non-alcoholic beers. So for instance, for Athletic Brewing, I like the golden one, the yellow one.
The Upside Dawn.
But the only two I've really tried is that one and the blue one, because that's really all we have here. So, and I've tried the hazy IPA one.
Right.
Which I don't really like, even though I like hazy IPA alcoholic beers.
Yeah.
And then we like the Iota.
So yeah, Phillips is a brewery out of Victoria, British Columbia, like an actual brewery. And they make their non-alcoholic line is called Iota. And so they have a hazy IPA that I really like. They also make, I think, a golden and also they call it a cerveza, which is the Mexican beer, which is cerveza is just Mexican for beer. I mean, you should call it something else. But
they also have a Pilsner.
Right.
But that one's de-alkalized.
Yeah.
De-alcoholized.
So there's a couple ways to produce non-alcoholic. There's like, you can ferment it completely and then remove the alcohol, just that one. Or you attenuate the fermentation. So you ferment the yeast to the point where they're like just about to start producing alcohol and you shut it down. So I like when they remove the alcohol because I think you get a more like well-rounded taste. Versus attenuated fermentation, always it's like, this is like almost a beer. And I think Athletic Brewing is that attenuated, like just leaves me wanting a little bit more.
That's exactly how I feel about the Phillips Iota.
Really?
Yeah. It's like flatter.
Well, they're all a little flatter.
No, but flatter compared to the Athletic Brewing.
Well, maybe it's just the different types of beer. But when I drink the Phillips Iota, their pale ale, and then I have the Athletic Brewing Pale Ale, I like Phillips better. But my favorite is, or at least right now and typically in the summertime, is the Corona, the Sun Brew, which is different than the non-alcoholic Corona that you get in the United States. And so this is like a distinctly Canadian one because Corona, it's like a whole thing. You can read about it. I'm not going to get into it. But Corona has always been different in Canada because it's distributed by a different company than in the US. There was some legal thing. So from a non-alcoholic standpoint, they're different. So the Sunbrew is different, but they've also figured out with Sunbrew basically how to suspend vitamin D in fluid, which is actually kind of hard. Like they put a lot of R&D into that. So the Sunbrew has vitamin D in it, which is pretty cool. So it's basically like a supplement, but the US Corona doesn't. And I find that they taste different. So the Sunbrew, if you're in Canada, is phenomenal. Or if you live across the border, you could always come get some and then take it back. And then they make these little like non-alcoholic Olays.
Yeah, Olays are good for a change. If you don't like beer or you don't want to drink the non-alcoholic beer flavor, the Olays are pretty good. The margaritas are good.
They have like a margarita, a Paloma. I think they have like a mango margarita. Those are pretty good.
Yeah. And then shout out to Fernie Brewing Company.
Logo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To be honest, I don't do logo very often because usually I just have alcoholic if I'm out and like in Fernie, but it's decent non-alcoholic.
Yeah. I mean, Fernie Brewing does an amazing job with just their beer. And then logo, it came out around this time last year. And I think the logo now is a lot better than when it first came out.
Yeah. Also, like Fernie Brewing Company is just like one of those brands that I really like. And it's local, so it's hard not to like it. But it's cool because all of their beer names are named after a lot of the trails around here. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah. There's Project 9.
Well, I guess not all of them. Project 9 is the one I'm thinking of. Headwall. That's a skiing one.
Yep.
Hit the deck.
More. Hit the deck.
I don't know where that came from.
I wonder when they're going to name one like swine flu.
Yeah.
What that would even be. That would be a good sour. They needed a name for a sour.
But that's our NA beer roundup.
Yeah.
We've tried others, but
yeah. Wearable technology. That's a question that we get a lot online. Like what our favorite watch brand is, what technology we wear for health and biometrics and stuff like that. Well, full disclosure, we don't use our wearables for like stress
lifestyle.
score. Yeah, we don't We don't
sleep
use
score, like
No.
stress score, like even a lot of the training data that you would get from wearing your watch 24/7, we don't use
Mm-mm.
or look at least I don't. Like I said, I think it was when we did the altitude podcast, I told people that my watch displays VO2 score, but I don't look at it.
Mm-hmm.
And actually I removed it from my face because it was getting in my head.
Yeah.
Even though in my head I knew it's not accurate because I don't wear my heart rate monitor for everything that I do with my watch on. I just hated seeing the number going up and down.
Yeah.
So I just got rid of it. I took it off my home screen and
It's got,
replaced it with the temperature outside, which is a number that actually means something to me.
Yeah. So we use Garmin.
I started using Garmin. My first Garmin you bought me.
I
A
did.
245?
235.
235.
Mhm.
Back in
Probably like
2019?
Yeah.
Because I had just started getting back into running and Meredith was like, why are you using a Timex? And then I was using her Apple Watch,
Yeah.
which frankly, I don't know enough about Apple Watches. I don't think they're the best for running.
No.
They just aren't meant for that, like Garmin is. So we are very partial to Garmin, partially too because we know the people who work at Garmin locally.
Yeah.
And we've developed a relationship.
They're headquartered just outside of Calgary. So it's definitely kind of like a hometown brand. And we know a lot of them. But also, like, I used to use Polar before. That's the only other big brand that I've used. And I just like Garmin better, for sure. And they make like bike computers. The whole ecosystem just plays really well together too. So I like that.
So right now we have Garmin 965.
Yep.
Which is basically, I had a choice of any Garmin watch I wanted. And this is the one that I picked. Because it is the best one for endurance athletes, not including ultra endurance athletes where you might want longer battery life or solar power. I didn't need that because I'm right now have no desire to do anything like that. But the 965 is very light for running and it's great for biking. I haven't used it in the pool, but I imagine it'll be fine for when I do my triathlon.
Yeah.
So that's the one we always recommend. But the ones that aren't as, like, I guess, as expensive or don't have all the different things like maps and music, if you don't need that stuff, the Garmin, I guess it's now like the 265 is fine.
Yeah.
The difference for me is the maps.
It is nice to have navigation, and the heart rate sensor on the actual wrist is a little bit nicer on the higher end watches. They might use a third satellite or something like that. The screen brightness is better. There's just like little things that are a little bit better on the higher end watches, the glass and things like that. But the Forerunner, the 965 is a nice balance between, it's kind of as high end as you can go before you get into that like Phoenix series watches, which are fine. They're just a little heavier. And I think, kind of overkill for what we're doing.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like I got really sensitive to wearing a heavy watch when I was wearing the Apple Watch. And like you don't think it would matter too much, but it does. At least to me, it's just like noticeable. And then, the bike computer I use is the 840. And Rue has a Garmin, like a TT15 Mini. We use a handheld for that. That's Garmin. So we're pretty much like top to bottom Garmin.
Yeah. And Garmin heart rate monitor.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. This is like a big question that we've been asked many, many times. Running shoes.
Oh, yeah.
There are so many great running shoe brands out there, but we have just fallen in love with Saucony. I think because basically you were having some foot problems, which everyone knows about, but I was working with somebody who worked in the shoe development process of Saucony, and they sent us a bunch of shoes to try. And having kind of a pick of all of their options, we were able to figure out what we liked, what we didn't. And I just haven't moved off of Saucony since, except for the Nike racing shoe.
Yeah.
I wear that. Even though Saucony has a racing shoe, the Nike fits my foot better. It just feels better for me. And that's the end of it. I've used the Saucony in races. It's still fast. It feels great. It's just like, it doesn't fit quite the same way as the trainers do on my foot. Shoes are personal. Like some people fit different brands differently, but I always say, go and try the Sauconys on.
Yeah.
This Endorphin Speed 4s are my favorites.
Those are probably like the best all around shoe that I've worn. I like the Saucony Freedom 5s, and then they redesigned. They stopped making that shoe. But if you can get your hands on like an old pair of Freedom 5s, they're great. And then I don't use my trail shoes are not Saucony. I use Hoka Speedgoat.
Yeah.
And you're in like a Brooks, right?
I wear Brooks. I alternate between Brooks Catamount and the Saucony Peregrine.
Yeah,
I think it is.
Peregrine.
Yeah.
Peregrine's the name of a falcon, just in case you wanted to know where that came from.
Thanks for
Peregrine.
that.
Paraguay,
Yeah.
but you were close.
Okay, moving on. Running tights and workout clothing.
Well, I'll have to say, like, I haven't found running tights that I like love. It's a whole thing for me.
Yeah. I have a pair of the winter tights I like, which are craft. Those cause no issues. The main issue, there's two main issues with running tights or any running stuff is number one, falling down. Like your pants don't fall down, but they do slide down a little.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like your ass is going to be hanging out, but like that feeling of them kind of sagging down.
Yeah.
The second issue, which is the more devastating one, is chafe.
Yeah.
And it is caused by the seam in the crotch.
In the crotch.
So the seam may seem like it's not going to cause problems, but after, 20K, 2 hours, that little seam can do a lot of damage down there.
Yeah. And even if it's like sewn in the little triangle where you're like, oh, this looks safe.
It's
not always.
No.
Not always
so
safe.
It's finding the right pant for you.
Sometimes you have to like try them to figure it out too.
Yeah.
And then like figure out what height to wear them at.
Like, do you want the fabric all the way pulled up so it's touching? Or do you want it like pulled down a bit so it's not touching?
But even if it's pulled down, it's touching something. But like I said, I'm actually hunting for running tights at the moment.
Yeah, really, this podcast isn't necessarily us telling you what to buy. It's telling you to tell us what to buy.
Tell us what your favorite brands are.
Yeah. The Lululemon Wonder Unders 6 inches are great for running.
Oh, the Wonder
shorts.
Trains. Yeah, the Wonder
Trains. That's what I wear for shorts, and I love them.
And I sometimes wear Align shorts just for like gym workouts. But so they come in different thickness, I think. I have pink ones that I wear, and I was wearing them yesterday. I don't know if you've ever had this happen to you. I consider it like assault. I'll tell you what happened. They're quite high-waisted, and so you can like pull them up to like right at your belly button or like above, because I'm short-waisted.
Yeah, I've seen your camel toe.
Yeah. You like it. So I'd like pulled up, like comfy cozy. I'm like getting a hug, but also working out pretty hard. I was on the rower, and then like I'm rowing, and all of a sudden they were just like, and they rolled down. Like the high-waisted part rolled into a like someone was like with the towel, into like a bead right below my belly button. So it was basically like, it went from like giving me a hug to like squeezing me out of a tube. Why are you looking? Yeah, you've never had that happen?
No.
It is the most jarring thing. Like it's distracting because you're kind of bending a little on the rower. So I guess they just maybe weren't pulled up quite high enough. And it was just like, they just like rolled down. They're not sliding down because they can't slide, but they rolled down. So then it's like, well, what do I do? Do I finish my row? Do I stop and I fix this problem? Because it's very distracting and uncomfortable. I finished my rowing set.
Okay, I was going to say.
Yeah.
The worst thing that's happened to me on the rower is the back of my t-shirt gets stuck in the wheel behind.
Yeah.
That happened in a competition once.
That's why you can't wear baggy t-shirts on the rower.
No. Or you have to do the tuck.
Did you ever, when you were a little kid, have like in gym class or something, have the scooters with the like 4 caster wheels on them? You would sit on the scooter and you'd like roll around. There's a square scooter. No. Okay, we had those. And you would like, sometimes you'd be playing like dodgeball on them or whatever, but it was always the work because you'd have to propel them with your hands.
Yeah.
But you're like a little kid and you're excited because you're on a scooter and in gym class. And so sometimes you roll over your fingers.
Yeah, I was going to say that sounds like something Canada would deem as too dangerous.
Yeah. So that's a core memory. I think, and when I think about what my first, like when
that's worse than the t-shirt in the rower.
Do you remember what your first memory was? Mine was shoving a crayon up my nose.
I mean, I have a horrible memory. Honestly, one of my memories as a kid was playing tag, but it was with a Beanie Baby. So you could like throw it to tag someone.
Huh.
And I was on a playground running down a bridge that was kind of one of those bridges that moved. Like it was a suspension bridge. And then it kind of like went down and up. Like it was concave a little bit. And then to get back onto the platform, there was a bit of a lip. So you had to like jump up off the bridge. And for some reason I tripped and I remember hitting my stomach on the edge of the platform. And I was so winded I thought I was going to die. So that was one core memory I have.
Yep.
And I don't have a lot of memories.
Yeah. Yeah, no, mine was going to the ER to get a crayon removed from my nose, which I don't remember if I've told. Speaking of memory, I don't know if I've told that story on this podcast, but anyways, I won't get into it, but that's one of my first memories. And also laser tag.
Laser tag is great.
Yeah. So as far as, I guess we'll stay on the like workout gear line of things.
When was the last time you bought a new sports bra?
Also, it's been a while. I think maybe last year I bought one. I don't know though.
No, you bought that one that's like, it looks like you're wearing a bra, but also not. You bought that at a store that wasn't a sports store.
No, yeah, I bought that here. It's like a little cloth,
It's a training bra.
It's not a training bra. It's like when I want to wear something, but not sports bra.
I know, but
also.
it is similar to a training bra.
Yeah, it's very like light.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just really is just a cover more than anything. I don't know what you would call that.
It's a piece of fabric.
Don't work out in it.
No. I haven't bought a sports bra since last time I was on the demo team. That was the last new sports bra that I got. So that was 2019.
Yeah, I mean, I
haven't actually purchased one since it's going on 10 years probably.
I know, which like speaks to the quality of certain things, but also it's such a hassle to find them. I have definitely stolen a couple from my sister. I don't know if that counts, but I was cleaning up the closet today or like reorganizing some stuff, thinking like, what if I just got rid of all of this and started fresh? Just like, all of my workout gear just gone.
That would be a lot of money.
But what if I just got like 4 things?
Yeah. Because we do laundry often enough.
And I don't work out as much as I used to.
Yeah.
I think about it. Just really like keep it really
I need some
simple.
new sports bras that don't chafe.
Mm-hmm.
Like my sports bras are getting to the point where I don't know if they're like old or what, but I get like marks on my back and underneath.
Gross.
I mean, you've seen them.
Yeah. Well, you gotta get something, you're gonna get an infection. Because not only is your sports bra old, but it is also probably perpetually not clean.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
moving on.
So the bikes. Yeah, people ask about the bikes and the skis and stuff that we have. So I guess we would run through that.
We're not loyal to any specific bike brand or ski brand.
No. And, we live where we live, which is a ski and bike destination town. So you kind of want something, at least it's definitely skis. You want skis for every kind of condition you might come across. Because like we get a lot of different snow here. Bikes probably can get by with fewer. That doesn't mean that we have fewer. So
yeah, a lot of people have multiple pairs of skis here.
Yeah.
Because they ski a lot and the conditions, like you said, change. So you have like your rock skis, which are like an old pair of skis.
Mm-hmm.
That's early season.
Okay, so let's run through your ski lineup and then we'll do mine.
Okay. My rock skis are Vocal Kenja. I have a new pair of Vocal Kenja from last year. I think you bought them for my birthday.
You're welcome.
I have a pair of Vocal Secret 102, which is like a heavier powder ski, but it's heavy. It takes some muster to ski on them.
Yeah.
So then I bought a pair of 105 head cores, which are a little bit more playful. I like them, but they took a bit of an adjustment. And then because I wanted a fat pair of skis for Pow Pow days, I think I skied on them like 3 times last year. So I got the mid-season. Those are 111 head cores. Very fun to ski on.
So you have 2 pairs of head cores and then Vocal Kenja, Vocal Secrets.
Yeah. And then I have my old race skis, which are fun to put Meredith on once in a while.
Yeah.
I used to be loyal to the brand Fisher. When I ski raced, I was sponsored by them, but now I've transitioned. And then boots, I wear Rossi because they were the ones that felt the best.
The head cores and the vocals are quite different, but also they're different, but they end up skiing kind of similarly, I think. Because like the vocals, both the Kenja and the Secrets have like 2 metal sheets, whereas the heads have no metal at all. It's like a poplar and a carbon ski, but they're both very stiff. They just like accomplish that stiffness in a different way. But the heads, I skied on a pair of heads. I was the first to have head cores and I sold those last year. I had the 84s and those skied really well. But the whole thing about the head cores, especially the fatter ones, are just like, and this is, if you read reviews, they're like, you have to ski the shit out of them. Like it has to be someone who basically comes from a racing background. Otherwise, like you just get stuck in the back seat and they'll ruin your day.
Yeah. The first pair of free skis that I tried since retiring from ski racing were the Vocal Kenja. And I couldn't believe that there was a ski that was all mountain that skied so similar to a GS ski, giant slalom, race ski. Obviously not as stiff, but just something that you could really load in the turn and get a lot of feedback out of, like releasing into the next turn. Yeah. It was just something that really like was stiff and you could load it and it just was fiery. And the head is a little different. It's a little bit more snappy. It's not as like predictable as the Kenja.
Well, that was the whole thing about the Kenja, and like people will tell you this, if you like skiing GS turns and kind of like the vocals have like 1 turn in them, and that's just like, if you want a ski that's going to feel like it's on rails, that's the ski, but you also have to be able to ski it.
Yeah. I mean, I love my skis. I think the Kenja Secrets aren't as fun to be on, but I do take them out a couple times a season.
Yeah. No, yeah, I skied your Kinjas one time, or I've skied them a few times.
It's funny because if we ever switch skis, I can't stand the skis you ski on. Whereas like you can't ski on the skis I ski on. But it just goes to show how much skis have evolved.
Yeah.
And all the different ones you can choose from. I mean, before we bought our fat skis, we had done so much research. You had done so much research, and then I did a bunch for mine. But you're not the best skier. You're getting better. The guy at the ski store, when you walked off to like get your bindings put on, he was like, yeah, she sounds like a pretty good skier.
No.
Because you knew so much about skis.
I do. Yeah.
But when, I don't know, I guess you can demo skis, but that's a whole thing because you have to pay for the demo.
Yeah.
You did demo a couple.
Yeah. If you demo, they will give you the deal on them. I think last year my everyday ski, which you don't ski that often here because it just ended up being too narrow. It's like a good sunshine ski. So that's why I got rid of the head cores, the 84s. But what do I have now? I have the Blizzard Shivas, the Blizzard Shiva 10, which is like a 102 underfoot.
That's your rock ski.
Now. Yeah. That was like my first kind of quote unquote like powder ski, fatter ski that I bought. But that'll be my like early season ski. And then last year I got the Stokely Nella 96. So that'll be my like everyday ski, which is good here. I think it's a little bit wider than some, but that's a nice ski.
It's the most expensive ski pretty much you can buy.
Yeah.
And Meredith was like, I'll take 2.
I heard how they were made. Here's the thing you have to know about me. If something is like special, I like the things that I have to be kind of special and like hard to get. And sometimes they're more expensive, sometimes not. Yeah. Special. Hard to get. Yeah, the way that the guy at the ski store, it's like he knew me or something when I was asking about, like, compare a Stokely to, like, a Volkel. And he was like, well, would you compare a Porsche to a Volkswagen? And I was like, no, I guess not. He was like, that's the difference. But not to say, like, you're obviously very good at it.
Volkswagen's still a great car. And a lot of people like them.
I had a Volkswagen for a long time. It was killer.
Yeah.
No, but Stokely's like, it takes like 2 weeks to make it one pair of skis. There's like injected rubber into it. So
you look at the ski and you're like, that ski's fancy.
That's nice. It's got a glass.
But I said, no one can buy new skis this year.
Glass top sheet.
Yeah.
It's insane.
They're damp to ski on.
They are. And that's how people describe them. They're damp, but they're still good like energy transfer. So you still get a lot out of them, but they don't chatter. So they really are quite planted.
Yeah, you like them.
I do like them a lot.
And then you also have another pair of skis, which I cannot stand.
Oh, these are the
I got on them. I did 2 turns. I'm like, never, ever put this on my foot. So like, I learned about like camber and rocker, which I didn't know about because I was just like, also, I'm like, did that even exist back then when I was skiing? Or was I so in the ski racing world that I didn't even know that there was a difference?
Well, yeah, because skis were rockered to begin with. Cambered skis are new.
Okay, so it went rockered, camber, and now they're back to rocker.
Well, okay, so there's cambered.
Explain.
Okay.
Rocker is if you put the skis base to base. Rocker is the underfoot touches, and the rest of the skis, they kind of go away from each other. So they're like...
Your contact point is in the middle of the ski.
Yeah.
So compared to a cambered or even a hybrid, like a rocker, camber, rocker ski, if you put the ski flat on the ground, it will arch under the foot. So the part under the boot doesn't touch the ground until you put weight on the ski, and that helps create the shape of the turn.
And that's what I like.
Yeah. So that's what helps you carve, and it helps the energy release and the transfer and things like that.
You can bend the ski. It's not like already bent. Where the skis you got are fully rocker, right?
They're not quite fully rocker, but they're as close to fully rocker as you get. So you get on them, and I
don't know if anyone's familiar here with snow blades. That's what it feels like.
Yeah, so the length of them, they're quite long for me. They're like a 172, which is longer than I normally ski, but the effective edge length is about the same that I normally ski. And so, but you get this big tip and tail rise. And so in powder, they're really fun because they just kind of float and they surf. Like, they're not the best every day because you don't have a lot of shock absorption like under the knees or under your foot, so your joints take kind of a beating, but then also it feels more difficult to like initiate and stay in turns. Like, they want to come out of turns, like they just kind of slip and slide, and you can...
But they're easier to turn and maneuver in a way because you have more control underfoot.
Yeah, because really stiff cambered skis, when you initiate the turn, that's when, like, now the ski's turning itself. So the natural thing that can happen to people who aren't as good at skiing is that will start to push you back into the back seat. So that when you're in the back seat, you don't have a lot of maneuverability to get the ski to stop turning.
And then all of a sudden you're going straight down the hill.
Either straight down the hill or you've turned all the way up the hill.
that's happened to you before.
Yeah. It's our
I was
ski.
offended when I skied on them. And then I was even more offended when you bought them. But then I came around and thought to myself, okay, look, as long as she's having fun.
I had the best, like that day with Georgia, that was the best day of skiing that I have ever had.
I know. It's all about, everyone has different ski preferences, and I never judge anyone who uses different equipment. It's to each their own. And obviously those skis are popular enough that people buy them and to make them. So, okay, enough about skis. Oh, wait, bikes.
Yeah.
Okay, this is my bike story real quick. So we both have Santa Cruz. I have a Bronson, it's a mullet. So it's a 29 in the front, 27.5 wheel size in the back. Meredith has a similar bike, but it's 29 in the front, 29 in the back. So not a mullet.
High tower.
So Meredith starts talking about how she wants a hardtail and how fun they are. So
hold on. This comes from like how much I enjoyed fat biking.
Right.
Fully rigid. I'm convinced I just became a way better biker last year because of fat biking, and I like the experience.
Yeah. Okay. So you ride a Trek Harley. Farley.
Yeah.
So she wants a hardtail mountain bike. We start talking about getting her one, and then we're going to share one. And then I see on the website that it was a Yeti hardtail. They did a great job with marketing. I'll say this. The guy riding in one of the videos looked like he was having the best time, and it looked really nimble, the bike. And I'm like, I need one. Let's both buy one. And even though I'm pretty frugal with money, when it comes to sports equipment, I will spend all of it. So combined with this marketing strategy that Yeti has, and Meredith talking about how much fun a hardtail is going to be, I'm like, let's do it. And then on top of that, the guy at the bike store was like, if you get two, you get 20% off. So I was like, free money, done.
Especially because
can't pass on a deal.
Yetis never go on sale.
The downside to the deal was that we both had to get the same color. So that was downside number one. Downside number two is it turns out I don't like hardtail bikes.
Like at all.
No. First of all, I don't ride enough. If I'm going out, I want a full suspension. That's me. I like going fast. I like having fun. You ride a little slower than me, so I think a hardtail is a little more fun for you, but it's just not as much fun for me. I'm not really out there to be super technical. I want to get technical so I can go fast and be safe. So anyways, now I have to sell this stupid bike, but it's still a nice bike. I'm just moving some of the nice components onto my full suspension bike so that I can reduce the price of the hardtail, because it turns out not a lot of people like hardtails and aren't willing to spend a lot of money on one.
Yeah, I'd say the market for like high-end hardtails is pretty
So
slim.
I'm trying to lower the end of it.
So we both currently have, and yours is getting a part swap, but the hardtail is a Yeti Arc, which was like the original Yeti hardtail way back. And then they re-released it, I think, in like 2020 or 2021 or something.
If you like hardtails, it's a great bike. I wanted to like riding a hardtail so badly.
You gave it a good shot.
But there were moments on the trail where I could see it being really fun. But they were short-lived.
The thing that I notice about, and I got it too because of Leadville, because I want to race Leadville. And it's either do I get a hardtail or a very light suspension? And I was like, well, I'll just get a hardtail because they're cheaper. And I do enjoy the like fat biking experience, but it definitely is a different thing. Like there's a lot of trails in Fernie, you can ride it, but you have to ride them differently. And you have to be willing to take a beating. Like my back's always a little bit sore from it.
Even going up.
Yeah. You don't realize how much that rear suspension really softens roots and things. So you're taking a beating with your back, or you're getting really good at weighting and unweighting the saddle, but you can't totally unweight it because you need to keep some traction. And then I think it's like long-term will make me a better rider in the same way that the fat bike did.
And
it
teaches
I'm already
you to, good enough.
Yeah. It is. I like a lot of fun to climb on for sure. It's just more efficient.
So yeah, that's our bike lineup. Honestly, again, there's so many good bike brands out there. It's really just what you're looking for.
Yeah.
The next two we'll do them quickly. They are partners of ours.
Yeah.
So let's talk quickly about Gnarly. Everyone knows Gnarly supplements, Gnarly Nutrition. It's basically what we recommend to anyone looking to buy like protein powder, electrolyte supplements, carb supplements. They have iron, magnesium, creatine, greens, and they have a really good vegan protein powder. If you want to buy Gnarly, and again, this is a company, we've never really partnered in this way, but it's just a company where a lot of our values align. And we really like Shannon. She was on the podcast. She was also on a YouTube that you recently did, diving into some research. And that's the brand that we recommend. If you want to buy, there's a link in our bio. to get a discount.
Yeah. They check a lot of boxes.
Yeah. And we've done a whole podcast. So
yeah, you can go check that out.
Yeah. They talk about like sustainability in their packaging and product development and all of that, third-party testing. So
yeah,
you can go and look at that if you're wondering about supplements. It's just a great brand. I specifically love the chocolate whey protein. It doesn't give me a stomach ache.
Which I also
And that's
love.
huge.
Yes.
It's not the reason my sheets are stained.
No fartsies.
Okay, the next one is a new partnership.
It is.
Meredith took this one upon herself.
Yeah. So it's Zwift, which if you have done any indoor training for cycling, you may be familiar with the Zwift platform. It's a cycling game. It is a platform for virtual racing and training, and it's really phenomenal. It is like the reason why I got in the cycling shape that I did last year. It's super engaging. It's super well designed. And there's a community aspect too. So we're going to kind of build out our tactic community. And this one's very new. So this is like only a couple weeks old, but we're going to use it for our community. And then kind of our greater mission just to get more women on bikes at some of these bigger events like Unbound and potentially Leadville and obviously Rebecca's. So Zwift is one of a few different online training platforms. I think Trainer Road is one that also people may be familiar with. And then Wahoo has their virtual training environment as well. I think Zwift does the best job of really like gamifying the experience. So you level up, you get access to different jerseys, bike frames, things like that. Things that, the bike frames actually make you faster in the game. So if you're racing, like these things matter. You can buy new wheels for your bike, all of that. It's pretty cool. And then this year they've always had some hardware. They have a Zwift trainer. They have a very high-end smart bike. That's a lot like the Watt bike that you can buy, but that's like many thousands of dollars. And so this year they came out with something called the Ride, which is essentially a purpose-built frame. And so this was an amazing, I think, gap to fill in the market because not a lot of people have dedicated bikes that they can just live on a trainer. So you're taking your bike that you ride on and off the trainer, which is kind of a tedious process to do. Or you're forking over a lot of money for like a smart bike or buying, a second bike for the trainer, which is not cheap. So the frame comes with, it's literally just a frame and then like a single kind of fork. And then it comes with essentially the play controllers. So there's virtual shifting. There's controllers that allow you to control everything in the game. So you're not having to use like the companion app or like click through on your phone. So it really simplifies that process. And it brings everything kind of under one roof from like a Zwift experience standpoint. And so that I got set up recently, been on it, and it's fully customizable too. So I think as long as you're between 5 feet and like 6'6", this thing will fit you. It's quite a lot like the biker, the way that it adjusts, the seat adjusts up and then the handlebars adjust back towards you.
It's nice if you're sharing because like I have my TT bike set up on one trainer, but I don't want to use my TT bike for everything.
Yeah.
So it's nice to be able to share that bike and just be able to change the adjustableness to it rather than when only your road bike or your gravel bike was on the trainer. I would get on there and be like, hey, first of all, I hate the seat.
Yeah.
So we're switching the seat back and forth and like changing the height of the saddle. And it was just a whole thing.
Yeah.
This is way easier.
I mean, it literally comes with the one tool that you need to adjust everything like in the bottom of the frame. It's amazing. So you can buy it with the kicker core. It can come with a Wahoo trainer, or you can buy just the frame if you have a trainer. There's a number of trainers that are compatible with it, but you have to check and make sure that yours is so that the virtual shifting works. And then if you don't buy the like Zwift Smart Cog, there's a way that you have to set up your cassette, which I'm actually going to make a YouTube video about because I found it a little bit tedious, but I figured it out. And yeah, there's not a lot of like, hey, here's how you do it on the internet. So I'm going to put that out. This is a paid partnership. So if you buy with any of the links that are in our show notes, whether you use that to sign up for a Zwift membership or use it to buy the hardware, we do get kickback from that. So just full disclosure. And also thank you if you do that.
Yeah. We don't charge for this podcast. So this is it.
We feel really awkward about it. Thanks for listening. Yeah, but that's, talk about a brand that we're like really aligned with. Zwift is like, they were the title sponsor and one of the main reasons why the Tour de Femme, the Women's Tour de France, was as well covered as it was this year. And they're really, I think they're pioneering and really pushing women's cycling forward. So it's like, hell yeah. Are we professional or anywhere near professional with cycling? No,
Not yet.
but we have a lot of women. Not yet. Yeah, give us some years. But obviously, like, we love bikes. We have a lot of women in our community that love bikes and want to love them more and want to understand off-season training and how to do it, how to set up their gyms and their trainers and the online side of things. So yeah, we're super happy to.
What are you going to call our group rides again?
Did I have a name?
You did. But now I can't remember what it was because it was probably over a year ago where you said, we're going to do I'm going to have a bike club or group rides and it's going to be called something.
I have to.
Jane Fonda.
Oh,
Jane Fonda.
Yeah, because the Grand Fondo is that's like what they call like mass start races. So I thought we could do a fun women's one and call it the Jane Fonda.
Okay, that's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll have some Jane Fonda-esque group rides.
Yep.
Over Zwift.
Yeah. You're going to go, what's up with the Jane Fonda? And then it's not going to make any sense, but you'll know it's us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's do a hard shift to, no pun intended.
Good one.
To kitchen stuff.
Do you have any favorite kitchen stuff, Alex? Like, that's such a funny one for you to put on the list, given that you don't cook.
Yeah, that little nonstick pan. I like that.
Oh my God, the shitty one?
Yeah, I know, because you keep putting it away and using the other ones, and I'm like, no.
We have nice pans.
I know, but I love that pan, that little pan. Is it probably like leaking stuff into my food? Probably, but
yes.
Regardless, let's talk about, you said you wanted to talk about coffee.
Yeah.
What we use for coffee. We have 2 coffee machines.
Well,
one is
you can't just
espresso.
Yeah.
One is a drip coffee.
Don't call the espresso machine a coffee machine.
Mocha Master.
Yeah.
Shout out to
our friends
Vanessa and Jenny who bought it for us for our wedding.
Yeah.
I love that. And then my friend Danielle bought us the grinder.
Yeah.
What kind of grinder is it?
Just a Baratza.
Baratza.
Encore.
And then we buy beans from the local coffee shop here.
Rooftop.
And then Meredith has her espresso machine. I will not learn how to use it because it is so nice to have a coffee made for me every morning.
Yeah, and like
which
a good
you do.
one.
Every morning you make me a coffee, unless you're gone, and then I just don't have one.
And then you just look at it kind of like longingly.
I do. I'm like, I wish I had learned how to use it.
Yeah. Yeah. I've had a long relationship with coffee, but I've always had a nice drip maker. And then I had a Breville barista, whatever their espresso machine is called, for a while, way back. Sold it to Logan Aldridge, actually. And then a few years ago bought the Mac Daddy espresso machine, the Rocket Giotto Chronometro 5, which is not like the nicest one that you can get, but it's nice. And so that's a dual boiler, copper, very, very bougie situation. It takes a long time to learn how to use it, but it makes an amazing espresso. And then the real trick is the milk. Anyone can pull an espresso shot, but it's getting the milk correct is tough. And then when we travel, I use AeroPress.
There's a funny story associated with the milk. And that was a while back. Meredith couldn't figure out why the milk was like curdling.
Oh my gosh. It was like every espresso, the milk would curdle. I'm like, what the hell is up with this? And it was like a couple of different types of milk.
You were doing research. At one point, you contacted the guy who owns the coffee shop that sold us the machine.
Yeah.
And he was like, well, make sure that you're not using like bad milk.
He was like, is your milk bad? And I was like, so then we got new milk and it didn't do it. And I was like, oh.
And the milk wasn't expired. But what we were doing was, and this is a lesson for all of you out there, if you haven't learned it yet, which you probably have, because I think all humans do, is when you put milk in your coffee, put the milk back in the fridge.
Don't just let it hang out on the counter.
Don't.
For like
hours.
Every single day. You can do that occasionally, like once, and it's
Turns
probably
out
fine.
Mom was right.
Yeah. Don't do it every day. I think it was when it started going in the drip coffee that I was like, I think it's the milk.
Yeah. Apparently, you told me the other day that using Fairlife is not the same from like a artistic standpoint.
Oh,
texture standpoint. We use Fairlife because it's higher in protein.
Yeah, if you go with an ultra filtered milk, it just is a little bit harder to get the texture right on the milk versus if you just do regular homogenized.
Yeah, but I like Fairlife.
Yeah.
Personally. Other new kitchen stuff, because you got a couple new pans.
Don't call it a pan. It's a wok.
Okay.
Please. No, I got it from Knifeware in Calgary, which is a Japanese cookware. It's where I got a knife from as well. But it's a carbon steel 28 centimeter flat bottom block. It's amazing. I love it. It's like hand hammered in Japan, and it was $143, which I think is
wonder
pretty
what they
decent.
sell it for in Japan.
I don't know.
Probably like $5.
Very inexpensive.
Because
I
that
imagine.
stuff there is really inexpensive when you buy it there.
I have no idea.
Well, Chris told us that, remember?
Oh, yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
We'll get another one when we go to Japan next year,
Yes.
2026.
Yeah. So that I've been using quite a lot. I made a really good pad thai recently and then again last night.
Yeah, that was good. Any other kitchen stuff?
Yeah. I mean, I just kind of tend towards like Japanese cooking utensils and things like that. Knives, rice makers, all of those things.
Yeah.
I think the quality is really good and the cost is typically reasonable.
Okay, quick touch on regular clothing. This is one that I've recommended to clients who struggle with finding jeans that fit their bodies. Women specifically, doer. They fit athletic bodies. They fit me, they fit you, they fit people who do strongman, Olympic lifting. It's just a great brand.
They're wearing
comfortable
them right now.
You wear them constantly.
They're like my sweatpants.
I wear them when I dress up because I actually like sweatpants.
Yeah.
I'm not crazy like you wearing jeans. Just like you remind me of my dad coming down in jeans on like a Saturday morning.
I don't know.
What
I feel
are you
I've like
doing?
gotten to a point in my life. I don't know what this is, but like I can't lounge in shitty sweatpants. And like what I should say is I'm to a point in my life where I like to get dressed in the morning.
You do.
Like actually like bra, nice top, jeans. Like if someone came over, I wouldn't be like embarrassed to see them.
Fair.
Meanwhile, you're like hiding in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Covered in cat hair.
No, I am proud. I walk out wearing what I wear and say, I work from home and I am living the dream.
Yeah. They're like, what's that smell? And you're like, oh, it's an old mountain bike shirt. Don't worry about it.
Wow. I didn't realize this was going to be a roast of Alex. I thought this was going to be our favorite brand.
I was trying to tie it back to that like mountain bike shirt that you have that stinks.
Okay.
That was that joke. Maybe a little too subtle and highbrow for you.
Okay, quickly, you want to talk about TV and movies, which even though we do movie reviews here and there, we don't watch a ton. So I guess right now we're watching Monsters, which I think everyone is watching. I'm very invested in it because there's a real life situation going on because of the series.
Yeah, I mean, like Kim Kardashian posted and everything, said like, gotta let him out. Well,
and
Kim
I'm like,
says,
okay, if Kim says, do we say also or do we say the opposite?
I don't know. I don't know where Kim falls on the moral spectrum.
No.
I just like saw it and I was like, feel like I should definitely have an opinion about this.
I don't know where the Kardashians are at generally right now.
I don't know. Like Caitlyn Jenner is somehow like a homophobic trans woman. It's weird because Caitlyn is like very, very conservative, like Republican. But I'm like, I don't like what kind of cognitive dissonance do you live with?
I don't know. Okay, quick.
So
movie
quick.
review. Just like a quick one.
Okay.
I watched on the way home from Ottawa this weekend, Practical Magic.
Oh.
And if you haven't seen that movie and you're a gay woman or a man, or you just like attractive people, you have to watch this.
Yeah. But okay, compare it to like Hocus Pocus.
I don't remember Hocus Pocus.
With Bette Midler and Sarah Jessica Parker. The witches.
I don't remember movies.
That's a great one.
That's the next one we'll watch.
Here's the thing, like one of my first like sexual experiences with another woman was with like while watching Hocus Pocus. 100%. So like I can't watch that movie without like some flashbacks. Good ones.
I have so many questions.
Yep.
Okay, we know we love Nicole Kidman, but it's nice to see her
in a role that isn't the like, center of drama.
Yeah. It's nice to see her not wearing a cardigan.
Although, like, I think the way she turned it around at the end of, like, Perfect Couple was...
Yeah, she normalized herself.
Yeah. I was like, I see you. Very meta.
Sandra Bullock, I mean...
Miss Congeniality is just, like, she's like a 10.
And then I really liked about that movie, one more thing. Let me just pull it up here. I really liked the aunts, specifically Stockard Channing, who... played in Grease. I was like, where do I know her? And that, I remember really liking her in Grease.
Yeah.
But I like her face and I liked her character. Were the aunts sisters or lovers?
I haven't watched it recently enough to know. I'd have to go back and watch it.
Yeah, these are questions that if you watch this movie or read a version of it in book form, if there one exists, that would be a question that you would ask in school.
Yeah.
The only thing lacking was the romance aspect between two women.
Yeah, but it's old, so
yeah,
we give them a pass for missing that.
Okay, that was a quick movie review. Would recommend.
10 out of 10.
Really quickly, music.
I mean,
What do you like? What do you like listening to right now?
Billie Eilish. My goodness. And it's really not his it's listening, but also like watching. And it makes me sound so creepy. Maybe I am creepy.
I'm sorry, but I've gone into her Instagram and looked at that same video from one of the outtakes.
Oh, she has like 4 different versions of Lunch, like the music video.
Do you know how to bend?
Yeah, and you're just like, what are you doing? You can't do that, Billy.
No.
I probably, and this is not an exaggeration, I probably watched that 20 times in a row.
We watched it together, and then I think we watched it separately.
I couldn't stop watching it. And then there's like a new music video where she's just like spinning around in an office chair, but like shot from above. I'm like, and that's 4.5 minutes of that. Yeah, on repeat. She has one of the nicest looking faces.
She really does. Yeah. I was like, I either need to get plastic surgery or wear baggier clothes or both. Because you seem to have quite the crush on her. And I'm like, how can I get in on that? How can I get some of that attention directed back towards me?
Like, you're going to have to learn music quick.
Okay, right now, I am interested in The Last Dinner Party. Discovered this group over the weekend.
Yeah.
Just give her a listen.
Mm-hmm.
Queer band, really awesome. They have like a song that's called, I think, That Feminine Urge or something like that.
Yeah. I also found this artist. It's called Christine and the Queens. She's been out for a while. And there's a song called Tilted. And amazing song.
Okay.
And also very queer.
And then lastly, podcasts. Everyone's always like, what podcast is good?
I love that this is what we're wrapping up with.
Okay, we're going to be totally honest, as we always are. We don't really listen to that many podcasts for 2 reasons. Number 1, we find ourselves to be quite busy during the day. And then number 2, and I think this is the crux of it, we don't drive.
Mm-hmm.
Hardly ever.
I used to listen to a lot more podcasts.
Any drive is 4 to 6 minutes in Fernie. I mean, maybe, and then when we drive to Calgary, we just talk about work. That's pretty much it.
Yep.
So we rarely listen to podcasts. If there's one that I know I want to listen to, I'll listen to it, but it's not like I'm just like playing a lot. So I'm not really sure. Like Mel Robbins always has good topics, Rich Roll. But if I'm being really honest, I don't listen to informative podcasts, like my book choice.
Yeah.
I like to enjoy and take my break away from work.
So it will come as no surprise that Alex's podcast selection is as smutty as her book selection.
It's not romance. It's called Two Dykes and a Mic.
Which is actually a great title and a good podcast.
They have the best intro song to any podcast I've ever heard. And it is really quite funny.
Do we need an intro song? Like we should get an actual intro song done.
Yeah, like they have. And I'm pretty sure one of them actually is the artist for it.
I guess I'll just do that.
Yeah, for sure. Not me. But it's really funny. I enjoy their podcast.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you listen to news podcasts and I listen to the gay news podcast. It really keeps me up to date in the culture, the gay culture. Because I do like gay news and Ask a Dyke. So I like to know what's new and what's going on in that world.
Yeah, I listen to current events.
Mm-hmm. We fill each other in.
Yeah. Well, I don't fill you in too much.
No, because I find news to be very stressful.
Yeah.
Especially political news in the US.
Yeah, which there's a lot of.
I do high level worldly news, but deep level, low level lesbian news.
Mm-hmm. The lowest of low.
Anyway, that's the update on our favorite things. We'll probably do another one in a couple years.
We'll see what has changed, what won't change. Maybe we'll have bought new sports bras by then.
Yeah.
We'll be able to give an opinion on what to get in 2026. And not like, yeah, the sports bras we love came from 2015, so don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that wraps it up.
Anywho.
Reminder, if you want to buy the Zwift bike or Gnarly, to use the links in the show notes.
Yep.
Other than that, thank you to everyone who listened, and thank you to our non-sponsors of this podcast.
We appreciate you all so much.
We appreciate you selling your product to us at full price.
Love it a lot, except not you, Peppermint.